who went 2, followed by Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson next, and on it went sort of in chalk mode. So, Jay, Will, I start with you. Give me a draft day declaration. What jumped out at you from night one?
I trust the first pick in the draft in A.J. DeBonsa, but I'm not sure I trust the organization of the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Just development is one critical thing for a player, and he's going to be a talented player, but you sign Trae Young to that 4-year, $212 million deal. What do you do with Anthony Davis? So much of the environment in which a guy like A.J. DeBonsa has to play in over the course of his career will be determined about who he's surrounded with on a day-to-day basis. I'm not sure I trust that yet for the Wizards.
Sean, what do you think?
I think you can trust A.J. DeBonsa for sure, and I think you're going to believe in him. And I think there's one thing I know is that he has that it factor, and he's going to win. And the question I have is, will he win with the Wizards? Because over the course of his career, if they do not surround him, he's going to move somewhere else.
All right, Seth Greenberg, we come to you next. My uncle Seth Greenberg, no relation. What is your draft night declaration?
The biggest impact player in this whole draft is going to be Darius Acuff Jr. because your impact is in relation to the opportunity you have to impact a team. The ball is going to be his hand day one. And when the ball's in Darius Acuff's hands, good things happen. He can play in ball screens, he can shoot the three, he can get downhill, he's got runners, but more importantly, the opportunity to basically be the face of a franchise. Darius Acuff Jr. got selected by the perfect team for him.
What do you think, Jay Will?
I love the way he plays. Look, I think this draft class, it got really interesting once we got by Caleb Wilson, when you saw the likes of Mikal Brown Jr., Keaton Wagler, and Darius Acuff. He reminds me a lot of Stephon Marbury with the way he plays. But he's so dynamic, athletically, can shoot, but he's always on balance, more important.
Jalen Brunson to me.
That's a good one. That's a
Look
good
at the body type.
That's
Just speak to Perk. Perk on line one.
It's a good one to aspire to. Sean, give me a draft night declaration.
Let me just go this way. It's easy to go through the top 10 picks. They all kind of went as expected. I actually love the pick of Yaxel Lenonborg going to the Warriors. Steve Kerr has shown over the course of his career he doesn't play a lot of younger players. And if they believe that this window is even remotely still open for Steph Curry and Draymond Green, you needed to have somebody that can come in and impact the game right away. At 24 years of age, you're talking about a guy that has the size of a wing with the length of a center. He can defend multiple positions. He's versatile. He's skilled with the ball in his hands. I love this pick for the Warriors for the window that they're in.
And he can shoot the lights out of the ball. You think about all the DHO actions they do with Draymond Green, all the spacing they create with Steph Curry. You get Jimmy Butler back mid-season off the ACL. I still wonder about what is the upside considering where the Western Conference is right now with San Antonio, with OKC, with Houston getting Fred VanVleet back. Like, what is the upside? What is the ceiling for Golden State? I'm still not sure about that.
If you got Curry and you got Butler, and they are both healthy and can play 60-plus games, and then you take a guy like Axel Lenonborg, who's a Swiss Army knife, is what he is.
Yeah.
He's a hard-playing, multi-position player, big time.
Okay, so a lot more on the draft as we go, which again went largely according to prediction. But we have to take you to Boston because this all took place sort of late last night. Now, Shams reported yesterday the Celtics were still fielding trade offers on Jaylen Brown in the aftermath of their inability to trade him to Milwaukee for Giannis. So then round one goes by. Brad Stevens leads the Celtic organization, goes up there, was asked if Brown is going to be on the team next season, and here's what he said.
Jaylen Brown's a big part of us. Like, you know, I'm never going to predict the future, but like every indication, everything that I think about is over the past few years has been building around those guys. The one thing I want to make very clear is how valued he's always been. We have a great relationship and an open relationship where we talk about everything, and but I don't want to predict the future. But you know, I look at it as this is our team.
Oh, those were a lot of words.
Right.
What did you think of that?
I love that Brad Stevens has a spine. I mean, I love that. Look,
That didn't sound like a filibuster?
No, because to me, and I said it last night to a couple of my friends at the draft. Like I said, I am not, and I repeat, I am not trading Jaylen Brown. I'm not. I get it that you're unhappy today. It doesn't mean that you can't be happy tomorrow. And the two people that we were thinking about trading you for was a guy who was 50, 40, 90, maybe one of the greatest scorers to ever play the game of basketball in Kevin Durant. And then a guy, Giannis, who I get it, who downhill Every league was trying to trade for Giannis. So at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm going to get return on value better than Jaylen Brown with the way he plays, considering having him and Jason Tatum the same.
So you're not trading?
I'm not trading him.
I totally agree with it. They can't get a player as good as Jaylen Brown. Now, here's the big thing. The only person that hasn't talked during this whole scenario has been Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Tatum needs – like, Brad Stevens said what he needed to say. And you know what? I think Jason Tatum needs to step up and say, that's my dude. We won a championship. We're going to try to run it back one more time. I don't know if that's his role, but I do know one thing. Brad Stevens realized they can't make a trade to get someone close to as good as Jaylen Brown, offensively, defensively, and in the way the game's being played. Those two guys can play together. They just got to figure it out.
Well, they won a title, too.
Yeah, if you were going to trade to get Giannis, I think everybody up here would say, well, that's the move that's going to make the Celtics better and give them an opportunity to win the Eastern Conference. We have all been in locker rooms, as players, as a coach, where you've had players that maybe it was fractured, the relationship. The locker room was split. People were going into their own corners. And then you have to come together and say, okay, for us to function, for us to win, we have to fix this. And you have that meeting. And it's tough. And you say a lot of things. And it's a lot of times, it's in the college level, it's on the coach. A lot of times now in the NBA, it's on the coach and the general manager to sit down and try to repair that relationship. If they can repair this relationship, is the best option for the Celtics to compete in the Eastern Conference, those two guys together?
Yes.
Yes.
Jay, Will, is the relationship fractured? Like, you've been in those type of locker rooms.
I can't speculate, but I can say that there are a lot of relationships that are fractured that still work at a high level. It's called being a pro. It's called being a pro.
But the first time you hit adversity, what happened?
But they've hit adversity their whole career.
And
the
now
media's pitted them against each other the whole time. So at some point, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to be able to coexist because they have coexisted before. They won a chip.
There's something that I do remember, too. You say we need to hear from Jason Tatum. We did hear from him once. It was an interview that they taped on the anniversary of the injury. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And they asked him, this was before the team got knocked out of the playoffs, but it didn't air until after they got knocked out of the playoffs, which made the whole thing feel a little different than it probably was intended. But when Jason Tatum was asked what he envisioned in coming back, he said, I envision winning the championship and winning the finals MVP. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That probably says all you need to know. I'll remind everyone that they won the championship and Jaylen Brown was the finals MVP. Those two guys don't. Jason Tatum wanted to be his team and Jaylen Brown wanted to be his team. And I think basketball, since time immemorial, you would know this 1,000 times better than I would, has always kind of been that way. Doesn't mean they can't function together, but it feels to me like with what's happened in the last few weeks, last few months, I guess, at this point, they may have reached the point of no return.
Great players have egos, and that's what makes them great players. They are fearless. They want the opportunity. They want the ball in their hands at the end of the games. They want to make plays. Can Brad Stevens bring those two guys who are going to say, I understand, but you know what? The best version of the Boston Celtics and the best interest of both of you guys to chase another championship is right here, and we're going to do everything we can to put the right guys around you.
Let me tell you what I think, and then I'd love to hear your response to this. If I'm Jaylen Brown and Brad Stevens says, I want you to come into the office, and then he sits you down and he tells you, listen, we love you. I can't tell you how important you are to the organization. We think you're great. We think you matter. We think everything you do is so important. We love everything about you, and we desperately want to keep you here. If I were him, I would say, you know what? The things you do speak so loudly, I cannot hear the words you say. So you can tell me all you want how much you love me. You can tell me all you want how with this, every thought I have is about building around the two of you. What I know is if you had gotten your way, you would have traded me this week. So the things you do speak much more loudly than the things you say.
And then if I were Brad Stevens, I would go like this.
But
I
here's
have your
the contract.
contract.
Well, if they give them the extension, then
that's your answer to your question. If he goes, okay, you're right. Here's your extension. Go ahead and sign it.
Well, but I have not had one person up here. I agree with you.
I mean, Myles Garrett said
for
forever.
those who don't know, he's eligible for a 2-year extension this summer for an ungodly amount of money.
Myles Garrett said he didn't want to be in Cleveland. What did Jimmy Haslam do? He said,
Right.
Here you
He
go.
gave him the money.
And money was everything. He was like, okay, let me sign that right now. Like, it changes scenarios.
So if the Celtics do that, then I agree with you. That would be something you do. Like what I'm talking about
and then he's impossible to trade.
Yeah. Well, that would indicate that they do want to keep him forever, right? And so that's fine. What I'm saying is when the things that you do and the things that you say don't match up, then the people who are involved are going to lose their faith in the situation.
But if you try to move him now, Who are you getting that's even remotely going to improve your roster to make you a champion in the Eastern Conference, let alone the NBA?
Listen, I have been saying since the beginning of this conversation, I wouldn't have been trading him in the first place. I wouldn't have traded him for Giannis.
What?
I think they dodged one there. Yeah, look, I am terrified if I'm them, and right now if I'm Miami, that you have just traded for a player who has reached the stage of his career where he's always going to be hurt. Giannis, when he's healthy, has been one of the great players in the history of the NBA. But the when he's healthy part is the part that would scare me. Jaylen Brown is a top 10 NBA player and projects to be that on both ends of the floor for the next 5 years.
I'm going to trust in the guy in Pat Riley that is incredibly patient and continues to trade for Hall of Famers. Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Jimmy Butler. This franchise wins in the margins. They win this way every time, and they're patient. They don't rush the process. They wait for the right person. They get them. They win.
There's no debating that.
Yeah, I hear
Pat
you.
Riley is one of the great basketball people. He may be on the Mount Rushmore of people in basketball for the entirety of a career. This is one that I'm not 100% sure that. Well, no, let me take that back. For him, it makes a lot of sense. They didn't give up Jaylen Brown. They gave up a bunch of stuff on a chance. They were a team that was nowhere near a championship. If they strike gold on this acquisition, now they have a chance.
Great risk
The Celtics are a team that I think can build around your margins that you're talking about and win a championship. They just did it.
I still felt like they were pretty far away. Regular season is different than postseason.
But there are other pieces they need, Jay Will. They need a more dynamic point guard, and they need
Rim protection.
some rim protection. Those two things are the reason they're not competing with maybe the Knicks and the upper echelon right now, and why they got beat in the first round of the NBA playoffs.
The upper echelon in the Eastern Conference, let alone the Western Conference.
Forget about the dudes in that.
OKC
By the way,
and San Antonio.
outside of Celtic fans, I bet you a lot of people can't even tell me who's on the Boston Celtics roster.
Yeah.